anybody seen the movie Matrix? You know, the wrenching story where Neo gets out of the Matrix, where he is introduced into the real world by Morpheus, exactly, I didn't get the name anymore. Morpheus actually brings Neo into the real world, and it's a slow and really painful process for him. He starts to wake up, he starts to realize that actually everything he believed in is not true. It's just a dream. It maybe has been true once, but today it's not anymore, because the whole thing is just a projection of what has happened in the past. And the more he wakes up into that, the more pain he gets as a result of that, the more also he starts to find out his own powers. Something very similar has happened to LNG, and please be aware of one thing: it's still happening. It's not over yet. Some people believe, because of the fall in the oil price, because oil is now somewhere down on $70, and people believe that's cheap. It's not cheap. But people believe that, and people believe, okay, now we are on the verge of a buyer's market, and the seller's market is over, and golden times back and everything. No, it's not. It's not over yet. We're still deep in the hype. We're still deep-rooted in some business models that are simply not realistic. Let's go into that. What we will be talking about today is real business, real issues. I'm not going to cover you with numbers. I'm not going to give you statistics. I'm not going to give you clauses, texts, anything. We're going to talk issues, because those are the things you need to understand in order to structure your business. And you always need to keep them on top of your mind. And this is going to be difficult, I can guarantee you, over the years. Because going back to the bad old ways is so soothing and so simple. You just don't take a risk. And risks you will have to take if you go into LNG. What's the truth? The truth is that most people dig in their head in sand. Just like an ostrich does when he sees something he doesn't like very much. The truth is that people say they want to do LNG, but they don't do the things that are necessary in order to do LNG. They say, we want to be LNG players, but they don't behave like LNG players. They say, we want to diversify our portfolio and we want to take cargoes in, but they don't do the things that are necessary in order to make all this happen. The truth is that the LNG world is a world that's different from the world that most of you have been living in. Be you a new LNG player, or it's even true for some of the oldest players in the market. Why is that? We'll see. Problem today is also that we are living between two extremes. And this is a traditional, it's nothing proper to LNG. One of the extremes is that you've got the conservatives out there. Those people who say, let's continue doing business the way we have always done it. I mean, it has worked for the last 40 years. Why shouldn't it continue working? So we just take what has happened in the last 40 years, recopy it, try to amend it a little bit in the fringes, make it a little bit more comfortable for me. And that's about it. I don't want to do something revolutionary. I just want to do the thing that has always been done. Then there are the others. The young Turks, I always call them. They come in, they look at those old ways and they say, you're stupid. How can you do that? You have boundless possibilities in there. All these diversion games, all this flexibility has to be used. Spot market is beckoning, real commodity status is beckoning. We will be trading LNG, there will be a world market and a world price marker. That's bullshit. It's not happening. But the problem is that we are living between those two extremes. And depending on what company you are, you'll be probably going for one or the other. And very few keep a level mind and go the middle way. But what is the middle way? The problem is, in order to understand where we are going today, you need to understand where we are coming from. The world we are coming from in LNG is very simple. It's a non-business model. I don't like to call this a business model, because a business model is a calculation of risk, win, loss, everything you put together, and you put a commercial deal together. That means somebody wants to earn money. He's doing that in order to earn money, in order to make an upside, and he's of course swallowing some risk. The old LNG model actually didn't contain anything of that. It was a government-to-government deal. It was two monopolies that were working with each other. What did they do? One monopoly on the seller side tried to make use of a resource he couldn't use very much. Natural gas was a nuisance. I said it yesterday in the masterclass. The old prospectus saying was that when they came home from from an emission, I have good news and bad news. The bad news is we didn't find no oil. The good news is we didn't find no gas either. That was true until the end of the last millennia. And we just started to wake up now to see the use in natural gas. It started to have a value. When the first LNG projects in the 70s or even in the 60s were started, it was a nuisance. People wanted just to make use of something. They thought, oh my God, I'm caught with this pile of trash over here. Let's at least earn some money. So they had an incentive to behave and to cooperate. On the other side, you had a monopoly on the buyer's side. Usually they owned the regasification terminal. Sometimes when they took FOB, they owned the shipping capacity. They owned just about everything, and they owned the market. They were a monopoly. They didn't take no risk in there. Business was simple. They said, okay, that's the price of my LNG, including the price of the LNG, the transport and everything. That's the price of my LNG when I have it in the portfolio over here. That's the margin I slap on top of the whole thing. And that's the price I will charge my consumers. And I will get this price because my consumers can't run away. They are here, they have to take it, they have to pay up for the price, like it or not. This was the situation that prevailed when we were going into LNG. In the Atlantic Basin, this has changed. It's over. Why is it over? Because the milk run has died. And why has it died? Because there came something called liberalization that killed it instantly. It's not like some slow killing where you actually tease somebody to death over years. Liberalization killed